Per usual, living on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Wednesday. We're going to talk about altcoins. I'm going to talk about BTC for a hot second in the open here because, again, if you get BTC right, you will get alts right. Alts should be beta to BTC. That means if BTC is up 5% in a bull market, alts should be up 10, 20%. At least the alts that are outperforming BTC. Now, a lot of alts are not outperforming BTC, which is why something like Total 2 BTC continues to be very bearish. Total 3, others BTC. However you want to measure this, in aggregate, the alt market is not the place. And why is it not the place? Well, it's because of things like global liquidity, which is at multi-year highs in the blue highlight here, but it has not risen on a year-over-year basis as fast as it was rising. The cost of capital is high. Inflation is still decently hot for the Main Street retail investor. It's just harder to push even more alts even higher than last cycle. So there will be winners that do extremely well. IMX, for example, I think is up 20% today, right? And then there will be coins that just do nothing for the entire cycle. So I wouldn't get married to a community, a narrative. I wouldn't get married to any coin, any dev, any leader of any project or any of that stuff, okay? We are not at throw a dart at a dartboard season for alts, that's for sure. If we see liquidity global M2 pick up again, then alts should do quite well. The way markets are reacting to this CPI print, it certainly feels like there's plenty of liquidity in the ecosystem. I think a lot of people were waiting for this print to be sure that we are headed in a somewhat right direction for CPI. It does not matter how you feel individually about the reality or if these numbers are fake or not. Because like I've said on this channel many times, I'm right there with you. These numbers don't feel real, but the market trades on the number, not the revision, not the discussion of the details of the number. The market trades on the headline. The market trades on core, super core, whatever else. So that's why things are doing well today from a bullish perspective. We are seeing dollar down, which is what we needed to see. The next step is, will liquidity follow in the coming months? But dollar down, rates down, yields down on the long end. These are all great things for risk assets, including crypto, including Bitcoin, S&P, all-time high. Let me say that again for the bears in the back. All-time high for the S&P. You can be bearish all you want. You can say the PE ratio, this, that, and the other thing, fundamental, makes no sense. I am not going to disagree with you, but price pays, and we are looking at the chart. It's at an all-time high. Cloud loves it. Bullish TK cross. QQQ, same thing. Bullish TK cross. Price above cloud. This is the strongest bullish continuation signal in the cloud ecosystem, period. Okay, again, you can have feelings about politics, Biden, whatever else, geopolitics. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. We look very bullish here. Looking at Bitcoin, we have popped up above the 20-day moving average, the midpoint of the Bollinger Bands. We have, to me, completed the inverted head and shoulders chart pattern. This likely sets us in motion eventually for a all-time high retest. The question, again, I keep asking is, yes, I think we're bullish, but is the S&P bullish enough to complete the mega cup and handle? Is the QQQ mega bullish enough to mega ascend it, right? I don't know. I don't think it matters necessarily how I feel about that because the trend is bullish. We may see BTC flows come back this week in a big way. That's something else to watch. But we had a series of consolidations over multiple months. Those consolidations in the moment appear to be ending, and we've made our decision. Down is not the move. If BTC is bullish, alts should be bullish. BTC back above the daily cloud. All of this is best if we take it slow, but the market doesn't typically want that. Similar to January, bullish TK crisscross, that happened fairly quickly. This bullish TK crisscross may happen slowly. Nevertheless, the signal is still very bullish, very, very bullish. Looking at Pitchfork and some moving averages, like, look, we held above all the moving averages that mattered. We're getting probably a bullish 1050 cross here in the next couple of days. It looks great. But I go back to how high can this go? how quickly can it go high, right? Because if we react to moving out of this trend channel like we did in February, March, where we sort of peaked and then came back down, that's still bullish, but it's not as bullish as this is starting to look. And I don't think we're parabolically bullish enough to just mega send it. One thing that I like on the encouraging side here, BTC funding right now is negative. Last time we were here, it was wildly positive. It was almost maximally positive, as high as you can go. Okay, we're not there. Moving averages have caught up to price like I've shown. ETH funding also down significantly. Last time price was at this level. That's what you want to see. Solana, same thing. Funding basically flat. So we've reset sentiment, excitement, momentum. We tried to break down and didn't. These are all very bullish things. We needed CPI to go our way. That's the first step. And like I mentioned on Sunday, you could have easily traded this pre-CPI and hoped for the best. But now that we know for certain that the CPI data point is behind us, it's much easier to get definitively bullish, at least for me in my head. Then lastly here, for BTC anyway, just looking at the lower time frames, we're peaking above the 8-hour cloud. I think we're actually at 65.4 right now on spot. So to see us have a 5% day and still have funding holding negative, to me is very bullish. And I love how this is setting up. So alts should do well. You should expect alts to do well. Not all alts will do well, right? I have this fear that people hear this and they think, oh man, my bags are going to do great. No, you're going to need to pick the right bags. And then you're going to need to pick the right bags to outperform BTC. So you're kind of playing this on hard mode, thinking, oh man, my coin's going to 1000x. Just you wait, Josh. I'm going to hold this thing till 2026. Just you wait. All right, let's move on to some alts. Before I do, let me mention today's video sponsor, Kraken Pro. Kraken Pro is a complete overhaul of the Kraken trading experience with a one-stop shop for advanced and professional traders. Kraken Pro enables efficient trading execution across multiple markets with a UI that allows for unique optimization tailored to your trading style. You can check out Kraken Pro with the link in the description of this video. Non-investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures Inc., PVI, DBA, Kraken. If we look at the alt BTC pairs listed on Kraken and we sort by 24-hour change, you will notice there aren't very many alts outperforming BTC today, at least that are listed on Kraken. Right? We're talking barely a handful that are above 1% outperforming BTC. If we look at by top volume, Solana outperforming KSM, and then it kind of drops off. Some other stuff, Filecoin, okay, great. But for the most part, you may think you are doing well because some coin is up on the day. But this goes back to the liquidity conversation, QE versus QT, rates up versus rates down, right? I think alts will have a day. I think alts will do well. Broadly, we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. Some alts doing amazingly individually. Some have done amazingly individually. But as a group, it's just not the move. If we look at total 2 and we compare and contrast this with the Bitcoin daily chart, total 2 is still hanging out in the cloud. This could easily break out. But again, I hate to even bring that up because immediately the altcoin mind is thinking, oh man, just you wait. We're going to 5 and 10x possibly, but the opportunity cost is significant. Now this is basically the Ethereum chart. So fine, let's look at total 3. Total 3 looks a little better. This is basically the Solana chart. Solana looks better than ETH on a relative basis. Doesn't look as good as BTC. But again, if you get this TK crisscross, right? This goes back to basic cloud stuff. TK crisscross on the S&P, TK crisscross on the Qs. Probably get a TK crisscross on the daily BTC. We probably see a TK crisscross on total 3. Probably eventually see it on total 2. Probably see it on others as well, eventually. But if you're playing this relative value game, it's very much a wait and see. It's not like, let's hope this happens, so I'm going to pre-position myself. I mean, look, you can. I don't care how other people trade, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. We're not quite there yet, broadly. And if you look at total 2, stripping out stables against Bitcoin, this chart looks horrific. It looks horrendous. As does ETH BTC, by the way, which I'll get to in a second. You know, this is basically ETH BTC. And look at this however you want. Ideally, what you're doing, in my opinion, something that we don't have, unfortunately, you're looking at individual sectors. You're maybe making your own index on TradingView, or we're looking at DeFi coins. We're looking at RWA coins. We're looking at AI coins against Bitcoin. We're looking at meme coins against Bitcoin, right? I think that's where you have to look in the individual sectors. You cannot take this broad brush with the index and find individual gems. I think first you have to look at the sectors, and then within the sectors you will find strength or weakness. But broadly, this tells you to stay out, which is what most people should be doing anyway. Let's be honest, right? This is not only is this freshly bearish in that it's breaking down, making new multi-year lows, but it's just been bearish essentially forever, right? Against Bitcoin. We're talking realistically on trend bearish since 2022. So when this flips, I'll be right there. I'll be excited with everybody else, but we're just not there yet. And this probably won't flip bearish until Q4, which I keep saying. I expect liquidity to pick up. I expect altcoin memery to take off. Interesting that the GME AMC stuff is back, because that may have a resurgence in Q4 once rates and liquidity are on their side, maybe in a little better way. Looking at ETH individually, again, like this is very bearish, actually. This is not bullish at all. And you can say, well, I think this is going to bounce here. I think this is a falling wedge. I'm not going to disagree, but we're not there yet, right? We don't have this breakout like we have on BTC. We have the cloud actually flipping bearish. And Ledger and I used to talk about this all the time, that this is, as a trader, this is what you want. You want individual charts to tell you when to buy and when to sell. You want leaders, you want laggards, because then you just get another trade, right? We get BTC strength to 70 plus, great. Then we get an ETH trade from 3,200 to 5K, right? Whatever it is, that's what you want. It doesn't need to be this chain is the best chain all the time from a trading perspective. So we're still waiting on the falling wedge there. ETH BTC just, look, just rip the Band-Aid off already, because this thing has been dumping for years at this point, realistically, since the merge. It had a shot pre-merge. It had a decent ascending triangle set up, but this is just not bullish. And it certainly doesn't look bearish enough to buy yet. If we just measure the recent price action and expect bearish continuation, that would measure to like 041, 044. And we're well on our way. Even if you look at total return, including the ETH staking rewards, it doesn't save you. This still looks very bearish against Bitcoin. What I think is probably happening here right now is you're starting to price in continuously this probability that there is no ETH ETF anytime soon. And I think what the market is waiting for is finality on the final deadline. Even though it's probably priced in, I wouldn't want to be long going into this announcement with the expectation that this is priced in or that we get this miracle approval. It's like the CPI print. Like, you can trade it. You could have traded it. You can trade the ETH ETF announcement. But I would much rather wait for the approval and be bullish than just hope that it's bullish and then be wrong. It just doesn't make sense. So we probably see, a move down on, this is, what is this, next week? Yeah, next week. We probably see a move down on ETH on the day. It probably recovers eventually. We probably see a move down on ETH BTC. It probably recovers eventually. But I would be well aware of what's going on here. It wouldn't be margin long going into that announcement. And I think because of how this is lining up, 5:30, okay, I guess that's the next week. I mean, they may deny these, they may batch deny them next week, Thursday. We'll see. Just something to watch out for. Solana, I already said it looks better than ETH. It looks reminiscent of January, February. It's got this inverted head and shoulders characteristic to it on lower time frames. Probably breaks out, probably gets a daily Kumo breakout. So, if I like alts here, Solana makes a lot more sense than ETH. Solana makes a lot more sense than most everything else. If you just hate BTC and you're allergic to making money, yeah, Solana looks pretty good. I'll give you that. This measures basically to an all-time high retest. A few other coins look okay. BNB, ascending triangle, I keep bringing this one up, looks pretty good. I think part of the reason why Solana and BNB don't look as bad as ETH is because the news for Solana and BNB from a regulatory perspective is largely behind them. Like the bad news, CZ's literally in jail, right? Solana is already on the securities list for the SEC. That's already like known information. So it's just a matter of time to price in the ETH news, get that figured out, and then move on from there. But these two charts certainly look better than ETH to me. Near looks amazing. Near's even breaking out on the BTC pair. Very clean, multi-month inverted head and shoulders. So I like Near better than Solana. I like Near better than ETH, certainly. I like Near better than most other alts. PEPE had a breakout on the GME day, plus 20%. It's given a little of that back. It still looks pretty good to me. And then BONK, as far as laggards go, probably eventually breaks up, because again, this is something that was just screaming super quickly, but has consolidated nicely, taking its time. And the pattern looks good. You got an Adam and Eve here as well. So as breakout trades go, I like all these. These all look very good. Certainly like them better than ETH. Looking at some AI stuff real quick and some other random charts that people have requested. If you want me to look at anything, just let me know in the comments below. I read all the comments. I reply to all the comments. I've also got stream every Thursday, 2 p.m. EST. Come say hi. Ask me whatever you want. As far as the AI coins go, it's good news for them that NVIDIA is back at all-time highs. NVIDIA has a bullish TK cross pending with price above cloud. It's even got an inverted head and shoulders argument up here on lower time frames. All of this is very bullish, regardless of how you feel about AI and blah, 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 and PE ratios and earnings. I don't care about any of that, okay? Trend looks bullish. Trend tried to break down and didn't. It certainly looked bearish at the top. It broke down. It just didn't go anywhere. So as far as Render, FET, Ocean, all these others, they also look pretty good. I don't think they look as good as Near, if Near is in the AI conversation. So on a sector basis, there's some strength and weakness here, but this looks fine, right? We're back above the daily cloud. We had this head and shoulders that we did not complete. We're above the right shoulder. So that's a great argument for invalidating the potential breakdown. So on trend, Near looks fine to me. FET matches kind of the Solana vibes, where it's got this potential triple bottom trying to hold above the cloud. It's not going to move without you like it did in February. Before the move, you got a signal. Okay, so yes, you can always buy everything here, buy everything pre-CPI print, whatever. But if you're looking for confirmation on the cloud, on the trend, we're not quite there yet, but we're likely going to see that. Ocean also has this triple bottom potential, but it is below the cloud. It doesn't look as bullish as Near, as Render, right? So definitely more of a laggard. Theta, lower time frames, has this double bottom. So as I'm highlighting all this stuff, it's just up to the individual trader to decide, okay, do I want to buy anything? Do I want to buy something of everything? Do I want to just focus on Near and the strength, arguably, that's there relative to everything else? That's up to you, right? But all these charts look okay. They certainly look more bullish than bearish. This is a weekly T Fuel chart. Is this the same? I don't actually know. Theta token, Theta Fuel. I don't actually know the difference there. This actually looks like Doge. It's kind of in the middle of the weekly cloud. Looks okay. I don't think there's a trade there in the moment. AKT above the cloud, kind of noisy chop, but it's up chop. Looks okay. And then some other stuff here. JTO, Jito. If you're bullish alts this cycle, you probably are more bullish Solana alts, Solana ecosystem than ETH. From what I'm seeing on chain, I'm not seeing people excited about ETH on chain. I'm seeing people excited about staking and airdrops and not using ETH. That's very reminiscent of Tezos. People love talking about Tezos bakeries and staking. That didn't really get Tezos anywhere. ETH does best when people are using it. Staking is not a great use case. So until that speculative aspect comes back on ETH, I think anything that isn't ETH that's seeing speculative activity is going to do better. So if it's an exchange on Solana, if it's a DEX aggregator on Solana, if it's a meme on Solana, this is where people are right now. This could be a mega cup and handle. I don't know. It's a giant mess, whatever's up here, but doesn't look terrible. I'll give you that. Evo. I don't know how to say this. There are charts like this, and this is what I caution people about. I just don't know why you like punching yourself in the face, holding stuff like this, thinking like, yes, this one's going to be the one. Look, this could 1000x. I don't know, but I wouldn't be holding this rather than BTC, Solana, Near. I like buying stuff that's going up. That's just me. Velo looks okay on the 4 hour, not above the cloud yet. Hasn't been above the cloud since April. So that would be a great signal to watch on the 4 hour. Nice little textbook inverted head and shoulders below the cloud in March. We don't really have that here, right? We don't really have anything chart pattern wise yet, in my opinion. but I would watch it on the 4-hour. Ondo, an interesting one. It has a decent case for bullish consolidation. Some sort of triangle thing. Looks okay. Doesn't look horrible. At the very least, it's not trying to go to zero. And then lastly, Wojak, another meme coin. It's had a series of, I just call them inverted head and shoulders because they look close enough, right? Certainly in January, February, it had that. This here is probably less of an argument for an inverted head and shoulders, but it's ranging. It's trying to bottom. I would watch this on like the 12-hour or the 8-hour. So there's lots of good stuff happening right now. Most alts, stuff that I didn't mention, is not looking so hot in general. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Not everything is bullish. There's plenty of stuff here that just doesn't look exciting at all, and it's just going to be a laggard. And sure, it's like, Doge, right? Like this is up, it's up a bunch. It's got inverted head and shoulders arguments for it. Okay, like yeah, it's there. Is it going to outperform the leaders? Is it going to outperform near? I don't think so. Is it going to outperform Sol? I don't think so. There's other stuff that's moving up. In the USD pair, there's a lot of bullish looking stuff, but when you use relative value as an argument, it's just not good enough. Not good enough. Say was down a bunch. It's up a bunch. Okay. That's all I got for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.